I wanted to welcome everybody to the Parent Teacher Student Organization meeting for February 20th, 2025. I will call the meeting to order at 7:31. I would like to thank all the administration, the teachers, and the students that join our conversation to share details of the events, the activities, and all the general information that regards our Homestead community. We did not schedule a guest speaker for this meeting, but we are looking for suggestions or ideas or inputs for the next meeting. If you would like to, you can share that either in the chat there or send our PTSO a email so we can get someone else for the next meeting and hopefully have a speaker for the next one. All right, well, let's begin with our administrative reports. And I do see that Patrick Brown is with us. And if you'd want to get started, we'd appreciate that. I'm curious, do you know how many gallons of blood were extracted during last week's blood drive?
I'm not sure. I was told it was over 100, but we did have less donors than normally, but we managed to get more blood than last year, which was great. I don't know how that happened, but it did happen, and that's great.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it was a resounding success. We were really able to help out Versity. Nobody had any medical issues. Only had to turn away a couple people, and it went very well. And thank you to the PTSO for. We had some parent donors and we had some parent volunteers, and both were very helpful. In terms of prom, the next event, as student council will kind of slow down for a bit after our two back-to-back events, the juniors are playing prom, and from my understanding, the venue is beautiful and the food is very, very good. Everything's looking good there. Yeah, so the only thing we're looking at is, the ticket pricing for some stuff because it's gonna be a little bit complicated. But we're hoping to everything works out well, and that's still, I believe, April 4th. So looking good.
Now, tell me, the venue has changed from the last few years, correct?
Yes, I can't remember the name, but it is in Third Ward. It's like a wedding venue. It's very. I've seen some pictures. It's very, very pretty.
Good.
Yes,
All
yeah.
right.
The issue is the parking, but because it's Third Ward, but they do have a parking lot that we just have to include in the ticket price. But sure,
Okay.
it should work out.
Great. And I know PTSO has been asked to maybe fund some of that, and I think that's still in the works. So
Yeah, Mrs. Pope asked me for some information, which I shared
yeah,
with her.
good. Okay. Well, I'm really looking forward to us helping that. And is there anything else you'd like to add for us?
So I'll go on for us for now.
Okay.
We're gonna slow down a lot for a little bit until some
Okay.
stuff picks up again in the spring.
Take a breather. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks a lot, Patrick. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Okay. And the next is our facility liaison, Melissa Blahnik, and hopefully the sugar rushes from last week didn't distract the Wednesday events too much, but I'm sure you can report the staff side of that.
Yes, thank you so much. That was definitely on my list. We appreciated all the sweet treats as usual, so thank you so much. Saw a lot of teachers sneaking in the teachers' lounge to pick a few of those treats up. I also wanted to piggyback on congratulating Student Council and all of you for supporting our students with the blood drive. A lot of great success. I know some students donating blood for the first time were really excited about it, and just the idea of helping others, even if they were kind of bummed out if they had to be turned away for whatever reason, but most of them really excited about that. We also did the rock, paper, scissors school event. I think Mr. Ebert talked about that happening on our last meeting. That was a lot of fun. I lost mine right away, but the students were all excited about it. So another way to just bring awareness to the event. Another shout out to everybody who participated or attended the musical last week. Great success on that. I was able to attend yesterday the AP research students, and Mr. Bauer, Ms. Zellman have been working really hard the last couple of trimesters. Every year around this time, students get together. We've done it in the collaboration zone the last couple of years. There were about 7 or 8 students who had been working really hard, with both teachers in the building, but then also outside, advisors and had poster presentations. There was a really great turnout from parents, teachers, counselors, other administrators in our building. And it was just, I'm always amazed just to see how hardworking our students are, and how much support that they have. Really impressive topics, kind of across the board, social science, but also English, physical therapy. So that was a really impressive night. So shout out to all of them. I don't have too much other than we're obviously ending or nearing the end of the trimester. Just the other day, earlier this week, Mr. Ebert sent out some of our reminders about the last 4 days before exams. We'll be wrapping up assessments in our class. Reminder for students and parents too to kind of keep an eye on Infinite Campus. So if students are missing anything, they can get those items in. Talking to their teachers and being proactive, getting enough sleep and all those healthy behaviors so they can really be focused in on exams, which can be a stressful time. Mr. Navarre and his team always have some supports for students, so they can look for that to do little study sessions and whatnot as well. And then our exams will be coming up early in March, so March 6th and 7th. And I think you'll get information about that if you didn't already, about exam schedules and whatnot. And then I think it was today or earlier today, Mr. Ebert sent us out some information on the booth sessions. I think we mentioned that at the end of last meeting too, that we will have that information, all the schedule and everything sent out for any students taking AP classes so we can further support students in the time when Tri-2 ends and their exams around May. So that will be coming as well. And that is all I have at this point. I might have missed something, but happy to answer any questions you may have.
All right, great. Does anybody have any questions? All right. We greatly appreciate those reports. It kind of keeps us on the pulse of what's going on there. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
That brings us into Principal Ebert, and I'm hoping you're getting plenty of your vitamin C. There's a lot of stuff going around, so hopefully you're keeping that up. Good, good. All right, let us know what's going on here.
Yeah, you bet. Well, thanks to Patrick and Melissa for sharing some of their thoughts about what's going on. I'll try to piggyback off a little bit of what they said, but no doubt there are some challenges with attendance due to people just being out, right? Kids being out, adults being out. I had an illness a while ago and have been able to stay healthy as of late, but we'll see how that goes for all of us as we keep moving. Getting warmer outside at least, right? It felt really good today leaving school compared to what it felt like in the morning or the last few days. I'm sure we all know that. I'm with Melissa on the sweet treats. I saw a lot of people in and out of the room too, and that's because I was hanging out down there myself, snagging some treats. So certainly appreciate that. I know it feels good for people to feel appreciated. So I appreciate that. Again, our connection between the PTSO and our faculty and staff. In terms of the mini grants, greatly appreciate that as well. I think really successful that transition to the last couple of years of having a February mini grant process along with the fall. And then for people to know that that's going to be an option coming up is really good. I enjoyed reading through and talking to people about some of their options, and I know that you guys had some really good conversation about how do we best utilize the money that we can donate here to people in the school building. So greatly appreciated. Look forward to that continuing over the years, so long as there's some availability there. ACT prep class for juniors is going to start next Tuesday. We have over half the junior class signed up to come listen to and work with some of their teachers in the building on math and in English and science related activities for the ACT, as well as for all juniors. We've got some practice, essentially practice test ideas through the methodized program, which the district pays for all students. Again, juniors only right now because the ACT it's coming up. It's before spring break. It's on March 18th. It's as late as we can run it. We choose to do it as late as possible, just so we can get into the third trimester a little bit and avoid those final exams. Juniors will have a different schedule that day. We have breakfast for them in the morning, lunch after the test. Just make it feel a little bit different. It is still an important test because it is a test that counts. It goes to the colleges that you want to send it to, if you want to, right? And we certainly encourage people to send their scores, even though a number of colleges these days don't necessarily require it. It's still a valuable data point for kids to send along, so to take it serious, right? Uh, on April 15th, we're going to have forward testing for freshmen and sophomores. I can bring this up in a future time, but I think it's important to note that we're thinking about and trying to do something different this year for that particular date. We're combining the two, freshmen and sophomores, together to take these tests on the same day. You maybe remember of the past, freshmen and sophomores would be on separate days in their testing for these events, sometimes over the course of like a 4-day period. We've shrunk that down to a 1-day period, and they're both going to do it at the same time. And that allows our juniors and seniors to engage in a different way. And I think we're excited about this, what we're calling right now Future Career Fest. So we'll have essentially the morning time for juniors and seniors to attend some seminars of local professionals who will have invited in to talk to them about their academic and career journeys. And so we've had kids go through their Zello accounts and answer questions. They took surveys. It's yesterday in their ACP homeroom to essentially sign up on a schedule for some different types of careers that they'd be interested in listening to. And now it's just the time to find that right group of people to come in and speak. Matt Wolf, our ACP coordinator, is very well connected to the community, the business community, professionals in Mequon and Thiensville and beyond. And I'm certain we'll get a good group of people. I may reach out or have Matt reach out to the PTSO though as well, thinking about making some connections to certain careers that we're looking to bring some people in. So look forward to that. Your junior or senior will have that opportunity in the next few months on April 15th. End of trimester 2 is coming up. Melissa mentioned that already. It means our AP classes are ending and the AP Boost schedule will come out. Again, that means that teachers likely will offer some opportunity after school, maybe on a weekend, in leading up to AP exams in May, just to come in and do some extra review. Highly recommend that students participate in those activities. Melissa works really hard. I'm looking at her as an AP teacher, works really hard for 2 trimesters to ensure kids are prepared for that test, and they are, even without the boost, right? But a boost is what it is, right? Like the opportunity to boost your performance by reviewing with the teacher and with your classmates. So that's important for us to do. The prom, yep, is coming up. It's at the Pritzloff building in the 3rd Ward. We're really excited about it. It's a beautiful place. Maybe you've been there. Mrs. Pfaff and Mrs. Ackman and some of the students went down there and tried some food, and they're really jazzed up about the place. It's nice to try something outside of Discovery World. We enjoyed it there for 2 years, but after a little while, it's time to try something different. The place is going to be very secure. I'm excited about it, and I know that the team in the with Mrs. Pfaff and Mrs. Ackman, excuse me, and the student council, that group is working hard to come up with ways to ensure that we keep everybody there, for the duration of the event. That's what we want. Winter co-curriculars are wrapping up. The Pirates of Penzance, hopefully you were there last week. It really was fantastic. Miss Fig does a great job. Mr. O overseeing the pit orchestra, and who knew he even had a part in the performance, which was fun to see. Other sports, right, are wrapping up. Enjoying seeing what's going on with those. Actually, boys hockey is playing right now in a playoff game tonight. So hopefully they're doing well. We've got wrestlers advancing and all sorts of other things going on. The girls are playing their last regular season game tonight at Nicolay, and they'll be hosting a playoff game next week. The boys have they have one extra week past the girls, and so they got some games coming up as well, and look forward to what their seating looks like. The next time we meet, it will be the spring sports season. So the times are changing, which is fantastic. I think we are ascending into the end of the second trimester and into third trimester. The things that we've worked on as a faculty this year about student belonging and community building, about disciplinary literacy and ensuring students are able to persevere through difficult and complex texts and tasks. We talk this stuff all the time. Melissa and the other teachers are working on different things to ensure student success. And then this idea of executive functioning skills, which we've had quite a bit of conversation with over the course of the year, a couple of year period now, and will continue to do so. Classroom environments, right, need to be designed in a way to help students manage their learning. And we know that kids today, you know this probably too with your boys hockey won. Thank you, Nancy. Appreciate that. I didn't know that. So I think they play next Tuesday now is the setup for that. In terms of executive functioning, we want kids to be able to be better organized and better prepared to ensure their success in their learning. And we've talked quite a bit about being clear in our expectations, developing routine with kids in our spaces and across our spaces, and then modeling for them what we want that to look like, to be on time, to be prepared for class, to be organized, and engaged in discussion and reflection and those sorts of things. And we like partnering with parents around those sorts of conversations. So if you're having them at home, please know we're having them at school. We care about the entire experience for our students, and that focus on yes, belonging, ensuring all students feel seen and heard is crucially important. But along with that connection to students through executive functioning skill development. That is our focus. It's what we did last week when we had the day off in February when kids had off. And like I said, I think we're doing a great job in the school right now. Our culture is strong. People are happy. And in a difficult time, which is that second trimester, like I said, I think we seem to be on the path up, which is a great place to be. In terms of speakers, I know the question came up about finding speakers for future events. I don't know that I have a name necessarily, but I do think there could be some options around student mental health. Might draw in some people. Social media usage or parental engagement around social media usage and learning more about what kids are up to, and just having that network of parents to know that people are aligned in how they're handling things at home with their teenager, probably would gather some good feedback. And anytime you can talk about teenagers and their focus and attention, I think is valuable too. These are all things that we talk about amongst our faculty, and probably would be great things to engage people with through the PTSO. So that's some feedback I have related to that. Happy to talk to anybody in the future more about that and how I can help get things organized. But that's what I have. Happy to stick around and answer questions about whatever I said or what we've got coming up.
Great. Oh, thank you very much. We so appreciate that feedback because I think that's kind of in line with some of the things that we've discussed about a speaker. So let's try to make that happen, something that we can put together as far as the emotional part of the student. We so appreciate this information, and just so everybody knows that we do record this and this is made public. I think a lot of these things can come through in our short kilts or morning announcements and stuff, but you don't get the whole gist of it like you do in our meeting here. So we really appreciate that. for all these thorough reports, and we appreciate your time. We understand if you need to bow out as we go on to our other committees and executive meeting part of it. We completely understand that. So please do if you need to. Otherwise, you're welcome to stay too. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
We'll go on with our executive officers report. The first one is our PTO secretary, Jenny McDonald. Has created and shared the document of our last meeting. And we need to just go ahead and see if you had anything to add to that, Jenny, or if we want to just go ahead with the motion to accept those.
I have nothing to add. So if anybody wants to motion to approve the minutes, that'd be wonderful.
So moved.
Okay, we have one from Melissa Lydorn. All in any opposition? So carried. Minutes from last meeting are approved. Great. Okay, the next one is the treasurer's report, and that's by Genevieve. And Jenna, do you have any, you want to just go over some of the highlights of our last reports of our budget?
Yes.
Thank you.
So I'll just go over January. Oh, I don't really need that.
Yeah, Melissa's just going ahead and sharing just in case anybody had any quick questions, or you prefer
Okay.
that we not have it up, or
No, it's fine. It can be up.
okay, great, great. All right, thanks.
But in January, we had a beginning bank balance of $46,361.68. We had new deposits of $2,200.15, which was for the conference dinner and Highlander Fund. We had withdrawals and expenses, which consisted of $14,149.85. Most of that was for a portion of the concrete pad that was put in the fall. And then we also paid for the fall mini grants and the conference dinner. Our ending bank balance was $34,411.98. And that is all I have. If anyone has any questions.
Okay, does anybody have any questions as far as the report that was given for our treasury? No, great. I love to see, you know, we have some healthy things going on and our balances continue to stay safe. That doesn't mean that we want to rest on that. We definitely want to keep promoting any kind of donations that come through. And so we can continue the kind of support that we have to keep our educational enhancements going healthy. So, okay, the next one is the president's report. And I'll go ahead and do that as the co-president alongside Veronica Pope. A lot of stuff that gets reported, we kind of piggyback on too, but we had the privilege of lending some help at the Student Council-led blood drive last week, as we've already had reported. It was really exciting to see the new donors there. You know, obviously they were nervous, but they seemed to be really proud of what they were doing. So that was really kind of neat to be a part of that. We have been working with our newly assembled senior dinner committee. The event is taking shape, and we look forward to hearing reports of great memories that are going to be made by our seniors that will be moving forward on those details. And we have some more information about that later on in the meeting here. Our nominating committee is working towards gathering volunteers to represent our community for the 25-26 year board of directors. We will hear a little bit more about that later also in our meeting. For the last several weeks, we have gathered applications from our staff for requests for funds to enhance the classroom experience. And that's what's going to be up next here. We're going to talk about our mini grants. It's a great segue into that. And we're going to go ahead and talk with Melissa right now. She's going to present those mini grants.
Thank you. Let me share this lovely document that Jamie made for us that will help, I think, just easily summarize the mini grants that we received. So, okay, can folks see that now? Sorry, can you guys see the mini grant document?
We can see it. It's great.
You can
Looks
see it.
great. Yep.
Oh, sorry, I couldn't hear you. I don't know what
Yeah.
happened. That was weird. Oh, okay, maybe when I go to that tab. All right. Hold on, I'm gonna switch back to that tab and hopefully I can still hear you. Can you hear me right now?
We can hear you, Melissa. You're good.
Oh, perfect. Okay, thank you so much. All right, got it. Okay. All right. So we solicited, as both Eric and Trudy mentioned, mini grants for both clubs and faculty in the February round. We did not receive any club mini grants, so we don't have any of those to talk about today, but we did receive 5 teacher mini grants. So I'll go through those. And again, on this nice chart, the first one is from the chemistry department. Their request is for a chemical drying oven. So I guess the ovens that we have when the kids do experiments, one of them is too small to fit all of the lab work for an entire class. And the other one is, I guess, quite old and rusty, and rust falls into the different lab experiments. So they're looking for a new one. So this new chemical drying oven would be big enough to support the lab work for an entire class. And as I think we've maybe mentioned in one of these meetings, both chemistry and physics are going to be required for students going forward, I think beginning this school year for freshmen. So I think we're going to have a lot of students taking chemistry and physics as our next mini grant. So that was another thought process, and how important these mini grants are. So all right, so chemistry is asking for a chemical drying oven. The cost of it is $893. So the next one, I'm going to go through them first and then kind of talk about our budget situation, our proposal. But if folks have questions about the specifics of any of these, please let me know. All right. So the next mini grant is from the physics department, and these are Pasco basic optics systems. So they're looking for 4 of these. As I understand it, the physics classes, and this would be both regular on-level physics as well as the AP classes, study optics and the bending of light with mirrors and lenses and all kinds of other things I don't necessarily understand super well, but they are looking for more of these basics optics kits. So the students, again, larger numbers of students that will be taking physics, we think in the next few years, can all have access to these for the classes. So 4 of these systems are $2,500.06. And this is all of these include delivery fees and shipping and all of that. Okay, so that's number 2. Number 3 is Phy-Ed and health departments are looking for CPR light up mannequins. So apparently these newer mannequins, when you perform CPR, they light up when you're doing it properly. And I think they're helpful for the kids in learning proper form for CPR. So they are looking for 2 of those. So the price of 2 of those is $990. World language, specifically the French teacher, is looking for an assortment. So 65 books and novels, French books and novels. So French teacher is a new teacher to Homestead. I think she's trying to build her library at different reading levels in French. And so they can do free reading, which I think is important in learning the language and grammar. And I think she said in studying for the AP classes too, when they get to that point. That's helpful. So this assortment of books, the cost of that would be $583. And then lastly, the art photography teacher is looking for some DSLR cameras. So I guess, these are more professional. I don't know much about photography, but these are more professional level cameras. And they currently only have a few in the class. So she's trying to build her assortment of classes that they have available in the photography classes. So she's asked for 2. The PTO did give some cameras in previous years. So our recommendation is that we're only going to give 1 camera. So I'll come back to that in just a second. But let me switch back over so I can see folks. Okay, any questions at this point before I? Anybody? No? Okay. Okay. So as you can see here, we've got the cost of all of these items, if we approved everything requested, would be $5,900 approximately. Down below here, we have just a recitation of what we have going on in our budget. You know, we budget certain amounts of money for this stuff. So we had only $4,000 approximately remaining in our budget for teacher mini grants. Now, however, since we didn't receive any club mini grant requests, our proposal is that we go ahead and use that. You know, we are happy to, you know, fund as much of this as possible, obviously. So if we add the approximately 4,000 and then $1,200 with the club mini grants, you know, that's a little bit more robust amount of money that we can pay for most of these mini grants. So with that in mind, our recommendation is that we approve all of these except for just one camera. And again, the thought is, you know, we've purchased cameras in the past, and we're happy to purchase one camera, but since we have a limited amount of funds, you know, we're going to defer to the other mini grants that are from newer, you know, different teachers that haven't requested before, you know, different subject matters, things like that. So if we do that, if we approve everything and just one camera, that gives us $5,400 cost, and it puts us just a little bit short in the budget. So if we use the budget here, we're about $175 short, but we've talked to the treasurer, and you know, we think we can still swing that, even though we're still a little bit light. So I know that was a lot of information. Does anybody have any questions or thoughts on their proposal? Different suggestions?
Melissa, just so we know as a whole, were there any other requests that came in that were not discussed, that are not represented in this? Okay.
No, this is everything. So this was our way to hopefully give everybody something. You know, we can give almost all of it, but again, when we're a little bit short in the budget line item, the thought was just we'd love to give all the cameras, but if we can only do one this year, because we've had all these other requests as well, and since we've done them in the past. So
Yeah. And I think it's a good point to make that, you know, some of these classes are not, maybe there's not as large of a student base represented there. So we definitely want to be good stewards of what we have. So we do take that in consideration, that like chemistry and physics, like you had mentioned, I believe they have to take one or the other.
right.
Starting.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Just want to make sure we didn't give anybody, you know,
Yeah, you're right. I said that incorrectly.
palpitations or something that, oh my gosh, I have to take both.
Right.
Yeah. So we definitely want to make sure that we're hitting those areas that are going to impact the most of the student base. And we think this is a good representation of that.
So anybody else have questions or want to make any comments? Otherwise, I guess if not, I would just ask somebody to make a motion to approve these mini grants as proposed, which would be all of them except for just the one camera instead of two cameras. So per the summary chart.
Yeah. And I looked in the chat. It doesn't seem like there's any questions there. Any other questions anywhere else or any concerns? Okay. I'd like to make, oh, Jenny, did you have?
I was gonna motion to approve.
Go ahead, Jenny.
I'll
Make the
second.
motion. Okay, great.
Wonderful.
We have approved the staff mini grants as presented.
We should vote. We should vote.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
First, second,
And right. Any opposition? And voting. All ayes.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. Robert's rules. I forget. All right. Then we have approved those, and that we would be spending the what was the total on it? So we have that for our records.
The total is 5,452 would be.
Okay, great. Thank you, Melissa and Jamie, because there was a lot of you know, back and forth with that, and you did a great job of trying to get us on route for getting those approved. Great.
All right.
Okay. All right, then we're gonna head on to the different reports we have for the committees. One of our most valuable means of communication is our weekly short kilts. So if you have any events, activities, or general information you'd like to be considered shared to our membership, please forward that to Becky through the Short Kilts email. Becky, is Becky here? I didn't see if, yes, Becky, do you have anything to add to that or any announcements regarding Short Kilts? Nope. I don't know if she's not able to get on or all right.
Sorry.
That's
It
okay.
wouldn't
There
let
she
me
is.
it wouldn't let me unmute. No, I don't have anything to add. Thank you to everyone who shares information to be included. Yeah, and just keep that coming. And people have been forwarding a request as well. So that works too. Thank you.
Yeah. I know I look forward to it. I'm like, oh, I'm going to be in the know. I get onto the Short Kilts. It's such a great means of our communication. So, all right. The next committee is the staff appreciation, and we've already talked a little bit about that. What brings out, any kind of conversation than food? We did have the sweet treats last week, Wednesday, and it was held in the staff lounge, and we got tons of really wonderful either homemade treats or store-bought treats. We also added on a component of fresh fruit too, and I think there were a lot of staff that were really appreciative of that. They thought I can have one cookie and a banana, so that was really helpful. It was cut a little bit short because everybody was sent home early for the day because of the snow emergency. So but it was still there the next day, and they were able to pick up on the sweet treats for 2 days. We also have been refreshing the coffee service in their workroom. And really what that is a little bit of expense for some cups and creamers and sugars and stuff like that. And most of the people that came through were very appreciative of that. And they said, this is really great to just have this if they've either forgotten their coffee or halfway through the day, they said they need just a little bit more. They're able to use those resources that we've provided in there for them. Okay, the next dinner that we're going to be hosting is the conference dinner, and that's not until April 16th. We got a little bit of lull here. That is funded by the sophomore families. So they will be invited to donate through the Short Kilts. They'll get a link to MTK, and then they're able to donate funds. And this one is going to be catered by Apple Spice Catering, which that family has a student at Homestead, and they always do a fabulous job there. And it will be a taco bar for the staff, and they always love that one too. So that's what we have for the Staff Appreciation Committee. The next thing we have up is the nominating committee. We have Melissa Blydorn is going to give us a report on that one.
Sure. So per the bylaws, the executive board is supposed to nominate or appoint a nominating committee to then be at the April board meeting to present the nomination for the next year's executive board. So we have 3 folks in mind that we're working on, and I think we've got an agreement that they're willing to be on the nominating committee. So really, this is just a mention that we will do that sometime between now and March, and we'll appoint those folks, and then they'll be present at the April meeting to officially nominate our executive board for next year. And then we have our elections in May. So that's how that works. So that's it. Oop, you're still muted.
Thank you. Sorry about that. Yeah, and I really just want to encourage anybody that's listening to this to, really consider representing your students' community by being part of either the executive board or on any of the committees. I think there's nothing like being in the school or maybe even have a part of what's going on there. I think it really helps out in knowing what's going on with your students. So, okay. And I lost my agenda. There it is. Okay, thank you. The next one up is, can you go down just a little bit, Melissa? There we go. Thank you. The senior dinner, that's really kind of taking shape. We've got a really solid committee that's working on that. They have requested if we could have another committee member for that. They need one that's gonna maybe help them out with some social media part of it, getting out emails. I shouldn't say social media, the media part of it, getting out emails to the students and the parents, and then maybe save the date information and coordinating with MTK. So they're looking for an individual that's able to do that. They've got a lot of the other components already spoken for. So if someone can step forward on that, that would be really great. And let us know through our PTSO, and we can get that information over to probably Linda Walsh and that. Okay. All right. The next one is the organization reports. The first one is I did go to the area council meeting last week. And I'm just going to hit on this one part of it. The MTEF, which is the Mequon-Thiensville Education Foundation, has their big fundraiser coming up. It's a tartan bash. Everybody seems to be pretty excited about it. I guess it's something that was around for a while. They went away from it for a couple of years, but it is back. And that is hosted on March 1st. And there still are tickets available for it. You can go on to the MTEF website and get them directly from there. There are still 2 tables left for the diamond tables, and there's a lot that comes along with the diamond table. So if you can think of either yourself or someone else within the community that would be able to step up on that one and help us out with that to fill those last couple tables on that. The auction items for the bash do go online the week before. So it's really a new component that they started last year, and it's really kind of neat that even if you can't go, you can still contribute, you can still get in on that. And that's really a huge amount of the donation that happens is through those packages and gifts and baskets and all those things that are donated. Then they're auctioned off and they're able to, have those funds come through the Education Foundation. It's just a great way to support our educational future here. Okay, the next up, I didn't see Nicole Hartman here for voices. I don't have any kind of report on that at this time. If anybody else has anything to add with that one, go ahead. Otherwise, we'll just have to go over that one or skip over it. Okay. Boosters, I looked through a lot of the other emails. It didn't seem like there's anything real focused on it. I don't know if Julie Smallwood is here. No. Okay. We'll go on from there too, unless anybody else had anything to add on either one of those committees. All right, then we have, does anybody have any old business that they need to bring forth? How about any new business? No, and I don't see anything in the chat, so I think we're ready to adjourn unless there's any other thing that somebody needs to bring up. Nope, just time to get snuggled under a blanket and call it a night, huh? All right, then. We'll go ahead and adjourn at 8:15.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you guys, everyone.
Thank
Really
you so
appreciate it.
much.
Thank you.
Bye now, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Melissa.